What is going on, folks? Welcome to Guilty Pleasure Reviews. This time we have a movie called Brace for Danger. This movie is directed by Andres Beltran. Writers are Amy Irons and Richard Switzer. Starring Christina Clifford as Peyton, Luna Riviera as Lucy, Sammy Nye as Erin, and there's a bunch of other people in here. And I'm not naming all of them. Look it up. But anyway, let's get into it. 5 days earlier. The first person we see is a lady named Erin. She's podcasting. She's a podcaster, an influencer. And she's just talking about that she's about to put out this new podcast, pre-recorded shows. I guess she's talking about her past because she says back in her 20s she was in the streets. She was a big old hoe. It's pretty much what she's saying. I didn't say it. She said it. She was out there in the streets having fun with a bunch of people. And now she wants to expose all of her interactions with all these different men. I'm like, that's not cool, but that's what she said. Then they introduce us to a lady named Peyton. She's a detective, I believe, or an officer. I think a detective in the missing persons department. And she has a daughter named Lucy. Her husband died from cancer like 5 years ago. She has a boyfriend. He's also a police officer. I think his name is Ryan. Not 100% sure, but it doesn't really matter. And then we go back to Erin. And we see somebody stalking her. She comes home, she goes in a house, she's looking for her fiance. Her fiance name is Andrew, I believe. He's not there, and all of a sudden, somebody grabs her. They go to fighting, he's trying to choke her out and all that stuff. In some kind of way, she got her hands on a bottle of wine and hit him across his head. And then next scene, we're at the hospital. And come to find out, that hitting on the top of the head with the bottle of wine, it killed the dude. So she killed the guy that was trying to kill her. I mean, it's possible, but not likely. But hey, it's a Lifetime movie. What do we expect? So she killed the guy. She's in hospital bed. That's when we meet her fiance, Andrew. And then that's when Erin and Peyton, they first come in contact with each other because of the situation. Now, what she's in the hospital for so long, I mean, I know she's traumatized. And I guess she got choked a little bit. I mean, choking don't really do all that. I mean, you got to know what you're doing. If you choking somebody, you got to know what you're doing. They got to be in the right spirit. I'm just playing. Her situation was traumatic. It was terrible. So come to find out, the guy that tried to kill her, he was a hired assassin. How they know that, I have no idea. I mean, they didn't explain. I guess he had a history of being a hitman, but they didn't say he was hired. How would they know he was hired? I have no idea, but that's apparently somebody hired him to kill her. Peyton is assigned to the case. So they decide to put Erin in a safe house, and she's not happy about it because she's a podcaster. She has to be online. That's how she makes her money. Her fiance, he's pissed because he can't go with her because he could be guilty of something too. So she wants her computer. She can't have that either. And then we find out that the night that she got assaulted, somebody stole her laptop. So somebody's after her. Somebody wants her dead. Probably got something to do with her podcast, most likely, if they stole her laptop. And so we switch over to Lucy, Peyton's daughter. She's at home alone, and somebody's like watching her, stalking her, and she kind of hears something, and then they run away and all that stuff. And by the way, the actor or the actress that plays Lucy, she don't look like no damn teenager to me. Her ass is old. I mean, nothing against the actress, but I mean, she's miscast. She doesn't look like she's in high school. That's just my opinion. I'm not saying she just doesn't look like she's in high school. Let's just say that. Peyton starts to wonder if the reason why she's being attacked is because she has this podcast and she's putting all this information out there, or she plans to put this information out there, and somebody influential, somebody important, they don't want to get caught, so they're trying to take her out. And by the way, nothing ever happened with Lucy at home. Somebody was just stalking her. So Erin, she pretty much spent her 20s being a big old hoe, and now she wants to expose everybody that she dealt with. It's like, why would you do that knowing that you slept with people? You wasn't a victim. Nobody did anything to you. You was just out there having a good time, I guess. Fine. And now you want to put it out there, and now she's acting like, oh, I'm a victim and it needs to be out there. Like, no, it doesn't. You don't need to do this. And now you're trying to use that for clout online so you could sell your podcast. Just say that. Don't act like you're a victim, like somebody did you something. So anyway, nobody focuses on that, but that's all I see. I'm like, I guess she shouldn't be killed for what she's doing, but her ass is evil. And then Erin, she's attacked again, this time in broad daylight at the safe house. And there's cops there and everything. So the dude got in the house some kind of way and tried to kill her again. Whatever she did, she must have been screwing Biden or something. I don't know what she did, but she messing with some important people. They trying to do this in broad daylight. And so the guy runs off because the police is over there. And so she survived that attack again. It's like, damn, Erin. And then later on that night, Officer Peyton, she pulls up to her house and bam, Andrew, Erin's fiance, he's like outside her house, like, hey, I need to talk to Erin. I want to make sure she's all right. Can you give her a message? And Officer Peyton, like, how the hell you know where I live? He's like, oh, I followed you yesterday. I'm like, damn, dude, you're a little weird. You can't be following a police officer home and just popping up in front of their house. So we gotta keep an eye on him because he ain't acting right. So he just wanted just to know how Erin was doing. So I guess he hadn't been able to talk to her because of her in custody or protective custody or whatever they call it. It's a safe house. For whatever reason, this is where this movie takes a weird turn. The story, the plot, they call for Peyton to go out of town to go see her parents. It's like they wanted to separate her from her daughter, from the case, from her boyfriend, so they could pile up some drama. And I'm like, why did she have to get on a plane? They could have did something locally. It just took a big old turn. It's almost like they had a plane set, and they wanted to use that set. They leased it or something. And they said, okay, we need to put a plane plot in this movie. Or maybe the movie was really all about the plane plot, and then they added extra stuff to it to make you care about the people at home first. I don't know what the plan was, but the whole plane trip was like a big old detour, waste of time. It made no sense. It was just, it shouldn't have been in there, in my opinion. On the way back, she gets on a plane and she's in regular seating, and this random lady that's in first class, she sees Peyton putting up her bags and kind of struggling, and she tells the stewardess or the flight attendant, hey, that lady back there, can she come and sit with me because she looks like she's having a hard time, and this extra seats up here, I would like the company. And so the flight attendant goes back to coach and grabs Peyton and said, hey, it's your lucky day. You can sit up here next to this lady. She wants company. And I'm like, that doesn't make any sense. And I'm like, why would she go along with that? Why would the flight attendant? It just didn't make sense at the moment. And I'm like, okay, this lady sitting up here has more to her than meets the eye. And so Peyton's like, she comes up there in first class and they're talking and stuff and chatting and blah, 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 blah. She finds out, well, first we switch to home and we see that Lucy, Peyton's daughter, she's been kidnapped by the guy that was stalking her the day before, whatever. He kidnaps her, and then we go back to the plane situation with the new lady sitting in the seat next to her, and she pretty much tells Peyton, hey, I have somebody working in LA where you live, even though they probably shot it in Canada. But anyway, and we have your daughter. She's like, my daughter? How do you know I have a daughter? She said, I know everything about you. I know everything about her. And so she pretty much said that, hey, I've been hired to get the information to where Erin's new safe house is. So she's on a plane trying to threaten Peyton by kidnapping Lucy to find out where Erin is at the new safe house. And of course, Peyton is freaking out and she's like, I don't know. I've been out of town. I don't know. They moved her. And so she was like, we need to find out. So she's on her laptop trying to communicate. At the same time, she's trying to stall. At the same time, she's trying to let her boyfriend know what's going on. And she don't have no intention on finding out where Erin is, even if she could. So she's trying everything, and the lady is like threatening her, telling her to be quiet and stuff. And a couple of passengers are kind of looking like, what's wrong with them heifers? Why are they over there looking at each other like that? At one point, Peyton goes into the bathroom, and it's kind of funny because she just kind of slams the door on the lady, and the lady's banging on the door, let me in here. She leaves a note in the bathroom to try to leave for, I guess, one of the flight attendants or another passenger to see the note to say, hey, help, I'm being held hostage in my seat. That doesn't really work out. Another passenger sees the note and she brings it to a flight attendant. And then a flight attendant goes to the seat where where Peyton is and the new lady that's threatening where they're sitting at. And she's like, here, she gave it to the crazy lady, like saying she's trying to warn people what's going on. And then we find out that the flight attendant is in on it too. I'm like, how many damn people is in this plot? Like, okay, let's think now. We got the person that hired everybody, that's one. All these villains. We got the person that was killed by Erin, that's two. We have the person that's been stalking and kidnapped Lucy, that's three. We got the lady in the seat next to her right now that's threatening her, that's 4. And then we got the flight attendant, that's 5 people involved in this silly ass, in this wonderful, interesting plot. And who else? Erin ass is a damn villain too, because she out there trying to expose people for no good reason, for clout. So we got 6 villains in this damn movie. I'm like, golly, they overdoing it. But that's what's going on. And so we find out Peyton can't do anything because she got the flight attendant and she got the lady next to her. And they're like, get the information. And so one of the passengers, the passenger that that saw the note, the flight attendant is trying to keep her quiet. And so she leads her in the bathroom or something. And it was funny as hell. Some kind of way, she did that little tap on the side of her head and hit her against the wall and straight up knocked her out. And honestly, I think she died because later on it was blood everywhere and somebody found the body and it was screaming. So I think she killed her just by tapping her head against the wall. So that whole plane ride was worth just seeing that. It was ridiculous. She was like, and so at this point, some kind of way, Peyton gets information to Ryan, the boyfriend, at the house. And he figures out how to get to the person that kidnapped her daughter. And so he kind of setting him up. And the way he roll up on him, it's kind of like obvious that he's there, but some kind of way he didn't notice him. But that's a whole other thing. So they're back on a plane and Peyton is still stalling. Some kind of way, I guess when Peyton contacted her boyfriend, Ryan, he told the police, hey, Peyton, Sherman, I think her last name, is being held captive on a plane. So when the plane lands, the police come onto the plane. As soon as this happened, the assassin chick, she has quick thinking and she elbows the shit out of Peyton, knocks her out. Everybody get knocked out so easy. I swear their heads are like made out of like paper mache or something. She knocked out in the plane and then she grabs Peyton's badge and say, officer, this lady here, she was threatening me and she held me hostage and I had to knock her out and all this stuff. And the officers, they're like, okay, they believe her. This hook, line, and sinker. And so the fake Peyton, the assassin chick, gets off the plane. She finds excuse to get off the plane. And this part didn't make sense either. Even though Peyton is knocked out on the ground and the police, they know she's a threat. And so instead of them securing her or detaining her, they kind of leave her there. And then eventually she wakes up and she gets up and she runs off the plane and they try to catch her, but they really don't. So that was weird. It's like that would have never happened. They would have had this lady in shackles while she was sleeping. They would have brought her to the hospital to make sure she was okay, but they wouldn't have took their eyes off of her. Now we go back to Ryan, the police officer. He catches up with Lucy and her kidnapper. He's walking up to actually his house. He tricked him to come to his house, but he's walking up and the kidnapper comes up behind him. They start to have words and start fighting, choke Ryan, I believe his name is, and she knocks him out with a rock. All these people get knocked out constantly. And I know she had a razor, so she was undoing herself. I don't know how she positioned herself behind him. I don't know why the kidnapper was outside. The whole little fight and setup and knockout didn't really make a lot of sense, but bam, he got knocked out by old ass, young ass Lucy. Even though we don't know how she even got in that position. But that's not important. What's important is the kidnapper is Andrew, Erin's fiance. What? So apparently, my favorite word, the guy or the person that hired the first killer hired Andrew also. And I'm like, okay, that's her fiance. So how long have they been together? Did he been hire him? Like, what kind of plot? Like, how did this work? Has he been faking being in love with her and planning to marry her for months? Because I'm assuming if they're in a relationship and they're engaged now, that they've been together for a while. So this guy been playing the long game. So I'm like, dang, that's kind of messed up. I kind of feel a little bad for Erin again. So yeah, she really pissed somebody off. I don't know who she pissed off. They trying to get her bad. So I guess his plan was to either kill Erin, but he could have been killed her, or maybe like take her laptop and take her information where they can't put out the podcast, but she can always just say it. So I don't know exactly what the plan is, because if he was with her all the time, he could have been killed her because they was together. I don't know. So at this point, Peyton gets to the house and her and Lucy, they are reunited. They're hugging, whoop-de-woo, all that stuff. And so Ryan, her boyfriend, he suggests that they stay at his house just to be safe. In the middle of the night, Peyton gets up for some reason and she goes to her house. And when she gets to her house, someone's waiting for her. She's standing in the kitchen and she finds her badge on the counter, the one that was missing. And all of a sudden, you know who is standing behind her? The lady from the plane. Now this makes no sense. Like, why is she there? Because the lady on the plane was threatening her for information to get to the safe house. She wasn't trying to kill her. She wasn't trying to kill Lucy. She just wanted information. Why is she at the house? Is she just emotional? Or was she hired to kill her now? Maybe, but they don't explain any of that. It just seemed like she's mad because she got away and now she wants to kill her. It just seemed very unprofessional, Miss Assassin. You need to keep your emotions in check. But she might have got hired. I don't know. She's not a good assassin because she walked up behind her, and if she wanted to dead, she could have popped her right there. But there was no gun. I didn't see a gun. But of course, they went to having words, and then they went to fighting. They went to choking and slinging each other around. And at one point, Peyton got choked, and she was leaning on the stove. And on the stove, I saw a frying pan, and I was like, pan, and you knew what was gonna happen. She grabbed that frying pan and whop, knocked her out. Everybody gets knocked out. Everybody got concussions. Knocked her out. It's okay. Is that all of the villains? Did we cover all the villains? Do we have any more out there? Because there's a lot of them. And I'm like, no, there's still the person that hired everybody. There's still the stewardess from the plane. They didn't catch her as far as I saw. And so we still got 2 more evil people out there. Plus we got Aaron. I don't like Aaron. So the next day she's at a house. Peyton, she's chilling, and she gets a ring at the doorbell. Did I say that right? Yeah, somebody rings her doorbell. And guess what? It's her boss, Tom. You know, Tom, he's been around, but he didn't have a lot of screen time. And she invites him in. They're having coffee, and all of a sudden she says, you know, my gut told me to show Aaron a picture of you, and come to find out, you were one of the people that she was threatening to expose. And he's like, his eyes, he started breathing fast. You see his chest. He's an old black dude. It's just a funny look, because this one, the acting goes over the top. There's a phrase I've heard actors use. I think it's called like chewing up the scenery. He definitely goes into his theatrical heights at this moment. And for some reason, he starts to completely, thoroughly explain all of his crimes to her. And then at one point, it gets even weirder because he starts to talk about her as if he was talking to somebody else about her, or like he was doing a eulogy at her funeral. It was weird. He's like, but not you. You won't leave any stone unturned. Maybe the powers that be are right. Maybe you will be better at my job than me. So dramatic. But I'm loving it. I'm loving every minute of it. And he was like, if you're alive long enough to do it, and he goes to pull out a gun. Next thing you know, the police rush in the room. And she's like, did you get all that? It was like loud and clear. And he's looking at her like, oh, you dirty little bitch. Oh. And so at that moment, when the police are taking him in, they do mention that they actually caught the other lady that was on the plane. I think her name was Jade. Who cares? The stewardess. They said she was fleeing into Mexico. And I'm like, Mexico, you got to do better with your borders. You can't have people just going into your country like that, undocumented. Get it together, Mexico. Fix your border. Anyway. So, yeah, that happened. That was a decent little twist. I can't lie to you. I didn't expect it. Let me finish with the movie and I'll talk about that in a second. So once again, are there any other villains out there? I think we got all of them covered. Of course, there's still that freaking Aaron Miss Blabbermouth out there helping people ruin their lives, but I guess we'll let her slide or whatever. I mean, she got the right to talk about her past, but man, that's dangerous because people might want to kill you for that foolishness. So yeah, she survives, I guess, to live another day. Hopefully not the whole another day, because now she's free again. Her fiance is gone, so either she need to find somebody now, or she's gonna re-hoe. She's gonna re-whore. And she'll have more stories. So maybe that'll happen, I don't know. But yes, she's still alive, she survived. And after that, happy ending. We go to the house and we see them talking. She got a promotion. The daughter got a scholarship to school. But I'm like, how old ass? What's she gonna get, a doctorate? Cause she ain't no teenager. I don't care what they say. She's a grown ass woman. That woman look old. She ain't no damn 17-year-old. So that's pretty much it. Movie over. You know what? I actually enjoyed this movie. Maybe I'm just getting worn down, or my senses are getting numb, but it was enjoyable for what it was. The twist was okay. I thought it was good. I just think that they should have had a couple more scenes with him acting a little strange about the case, because he was there, but there was no scene where it seemed like he was like in two minds. He was just being a regular boss or supervisor, sergeant, whatever the hell he is. They should have had a scene in there where Aaron had to come to the station and he all of a sudden started acting a little awkward or anxious and said, oh, I gotta go, I'll be back. Like something like that. There was no scenes like that. But you didn't see it coming at all. But if you rewatch the movie, there's nothing in that rewatch that'll tell you that, hey, he knew something. Not really. There was a mention about the list. He only wanted her to see the list. But that could have been with any case, you know? So that wasn't even really like a good hint. There was no hints about his reveal. So that made it less good. But he was so over the top. It was fun. It was worth it. So if I had to rate this movie, out of all the rest of the movies that I've reviewed on Guilty Pleasure Reviews, I would say this movie is a 7. And a 7 is good because 5 is average and 5 is watchable. So you 2 steps past a 5. So for these movies on this channel that I reviewed, do not be comparing my ratings 1 out of 10 to a real movie with major production. It's not what this is. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed my review and breakdown. And I will see you on the next one. This is AD. Goodbye.